That's right, another screenshot. It means nothing other than the video has frozen for the first half. It picks up again near the end. The audio is fine, so if you guys want to leave it on in the background, that'd be great. Once again, apologies. If someone wants to buy me a new laptop, that would be great. If not, I do apologize. I'm going to try my best to solve this next time by doing even more troubleshooting. But yeah, enjoy the video. Yo guys, welcome back to the Touchliner, episode 30. And as you can see, I've got Hussein and Zaid's back on. How are you guys doing?
We're repping today. We're repping.
I converted into the dark side.
Relax. I'm repping for 30 minutes and that's it. If the episode lasts longer than 30 minutes, I'm taking this off in the middle of the episode. It's a 30-minute deadline.
Nice. But as you can see, they have set the tone and the subject for this episode. We're going to be focusing a lot on Bayern Munich today. There's been some huge news in the past couple days. Zaid is a Bayern Munich fan. Zaid, what's happened? What's happened at your club?
So I'll break it down like this, right? I'm coming home from work on Friday, a couple days ago, right? So I'm coming home from work on either the Friday, whatever day it was, and I get a call from my friend. And my friend is the kind of person who likes to joke around, let's say, right? He just says jokes and says random stuff for the sake of saying it. And this guy says, yeah, by the way, your guy got sacked. And I look at him like, what guy? And he goes, your guy. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like the Raptors coach got sacked? Like, who? And he goes, no, your Bayern coach, you're Nagelsmann. And I spent like 5 minutes debating with him. I was in the car calling him from the car. And I spent 5 minutes debating with him. Like, there's no way this is true. You're stupid. He's undefeated in the Champions League. And he goes, check it. So I pulled over the car and I went to check the news, and it was confirmed. And I was absolutely shocked. Absolutely taken aback. There was no way that this was I was shocked there. Did not see this coming whatsoever. How did you guys react?
I remember when it was happening. So I was studying with my friends, and one of them goes, "Oh, it looks like Tuchel might take over for Bayern." I was like, "What?" 10 minutes later, he goes, "Oh, yeah, there you go. It's official. Nagelsmann out, Tuchel in." Like, it just happened so out of nowhere. Like, I'm still like. Here's the thing. Now that we've had time to think about it, some things do make sense.
No, they don't.
I mean, explain.
No, they don't. I'm sorry.
Zaid had the theory that he said yesterday. I'm gonna let him.
But no, we can get into that later. I want to hear how it makes sense to you.
Well, it's like also your theory is what makes sense.
So, the whole idea is.
Sorry, the cat's meowing, so we're just letting him in.
He just wants to.
We'll let the cat make an appearance on the way.
He comes, meows at our door, and then runs away. That's how it is. But no, like essentially, what I'm guessing the reasoning from the management was that number one, they weren't happy with Nagelsmann's Bundesliga record. Right?
Yeah.
Performances that he's been putting in the Bundesliga. As a Bayern fan, to me, honestly. After winning 10 years in a row, two things become true. Number one, you realize you're not going to win 1,000 years in a row. It's okay. You lose one every now and then.
Yeah.
Fine. Number two, I didn't feel like this was in danger. We have the game against Dortmund, literally, is it maybe today or something? Or like, no, after the international break, sorry, right?
Yeah.
We have the game against Dortmund after the international break. And I just woke up, I got confused, my bad. But we have that game, and that game can bring us back in first place, right? You just... The fall off or the drop off is that you didn't secure the title from now. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So, you got 2 losses, right? So that's one reasoning. The other that I think management, and I heard this on ESPN FC on their analysis, and it made me realize that this might be true, is the fact that perhaps maybe they just don't like him as a personality in the dealing with him in terms of management, stuff like that. They might just not like him, and they might just be looking for a reason. And then if he goes on to win the league, win the Champions League, and win the cup, because he's still in competition for the treble, right?
Yeah.
If he goes on to win all 3, they can't fire him. They can't, because he won the treble, and he not only can they not fire him, but he has an allowance of another season of failure because he took the treble. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So their thinking is, on one side is that maybe management doesn't like him, and on the other side is that they thought potentially. Like, they've been wanting Tuchel for 2018. right? From 2018, from before he went to PSG, they were trying to get him, and he went to PSG. At the time, it didn't happen. Then he moved from PSG to Chelsea. At that time, it didn't happen. So now they're thinking that potentially Tottenham be the ones that like would hire. I got flamed one time for calling them Tottenham.
He flamed me for going to Tottenham.
Yeah, so I just remember it last minute. Could Tottenham be the ones that potentially would be hiring him because they're like that? You know how that situation is going with Conte, or Real Madrid not knowing what happens with Carlo Ancelotti after this season. Could they be saving a bag for Tuchel? Right? I don't know. So Bayern bosses could have thought that, okay, let me act fast and let us act fast and let us just secure this and wrap this up. You kill two birds with one stone. You fire Nagelsmann when you have some semblance of a backing to fire him, and you get Tuchel, who's the manager you've been wanting since 2018. My issue with that is I think it's a lie. Like, I don't think that's really their reasoning, because one of the things that they said was, we're not playing attractive football anymore, and we all know they say that when they don't have anything to say.
Yeah.
So, like, for me, Tuchel was not going to Tottenham. I don't think he goes there. I don't think that job is appealing enough to him after how the way Conte reacted, you know? And everybody, like, from what I've been reading, everybody's been saying that Tottenham would be hiring their assistant manager. I can't remember his name. It escapes me.
Ryan Mason. Yeah.
Ryan Mason, yeah, that was the name, until the end of the season before they made a decision in the, like, off-season, in the summer. So they're out the window. And Ancelotti has a contract through next season.
Yeah.
Right? So whether or not he stays there, that's a question that hasn't been answered now. So they can't just hire Tuchel based on that. You know what I mean? So for me, I don't think, like, I just think that those were a lie. My opinion, it's a rookie mistake because the management of Bayern, because Karl-Heinz Rummenigge and Uli Hoeneß are out, and Oliver Kahn and Herbert Hainer are in, the new management. And those guys, and Salih Hamidžić, he's the other guy who's the sporting director who didn't really like Nagelsmann that much, right?
Yeah.
Those three, or those, let's say two, because Herbert Hainer was, I think, supportive of Nagelsmann, were the ones who pulled the plug because they didn't like the guy. To be very honest, this is what my opinion is. Because Herbert Hainer, who's the other partner in management with Oliver Kahn, came out 3 days before the announcement and said, we're backing Nagelsmann. Nagelsmann is our guy. We're happy with him, such and such, you know? And yeah, sure, like, it's management and they just say whatever they want to say in the moment, but at the same time, like you whatever you're doing has to be backed by common sense, and I feel like at this juncture it wasn't, right?
Yep.
Lack of patience, right? Because if you wanted to give, like, if the man is still second in the Bundesliga and you still wanted to give him, like, if he's still competing for the treble, he hasn't lost in the Champions League, you know, he hasn't. One thing that is in my mind tainting things is that the last year's exit against Villarreal is really like, in their minds, or really has tainted this sacking, because it's kind of left a taste in the management's mouth. But again, in my belief, there was a lot more going on. Lewandowski was having all his drama behind the scenes at that time, right? Like, there was so much going on in the club otherwise, and they were implementing a new system. They seem to have it unlocked. They seem to have had it unlocked this season. I mean, you conceded 2 goals in the whole Champions League up to this point. 2 goals.
But you also have to consider second in the Bundesliga.
You conceded 2 goals, and both of them came against Victoria Pilsen. Do you understand? Like, 2 goals, like, PSG could have scored on you, Inter Milan could have scored on you, Barca could have scored on you, right? Like,
yeah,
I don't know. I think that it was a very knee-jerk reaction, knee-jerk hire. It wasn't a good thing. I think Nagelsmann would have been the manager of the future, would have been allowed to grow with the club, could have been someone who would stick around for a decade. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was kind of the hope I had for him coming in so young. And you get all these, I want to get to a few reports afterward. You guys, you know, also give your takes as well. But there was reports that he lost the dressing room, and I want to address that shortly after. But before I get into that, I don't know. How did you react to the sacking?
I was surprised, man. I was surprised because, I mean, I semi keep up with the Bundesliga, but I didn't realize that you were level on points with Dortmund, which
we're 1 behind now.
Or 1 behind now even. So again, it's not the end of the world, but usually at this point in the season, Bayern are like have pretty much won the title already. It's done and dusted, and then you guys shift your focus to the Champions League, which I always thought would be the main focus for you. Very similar to Man City. Like the league, fine, you win the league, right? But this season, both of the clubs are very close in these title races. But I always thought, if Nagelsmann just does well in the Champions League, which he has, he's knocked out PSG.
Without conceding any goals.
Exactly. You give him, I thought you at least give him till the end of the season. But like you said about the board, I think it has to do with the board. The board don't like him. And reports about the dressing room as well. The players apparently didn't respect him enough. He said there was too much because he's young, he's in his mid-30s. He said he wasn't that much of a man or a big leader because he'd come into training on a skateboard. Like, that's exactly what the report said. And I was like, what is the issue? Oh, he rides a skateboard, so he's not your manager? This guy is one of the tactical minds, one of the next great tactical minds, and we're going to see it very soon if it's not at Bayern Munich.
Yeah. And by the way, he's not going to have an issue landing anywhere.
Everybody's
going to want him.
100%.
Everybody's going to want him, right? And just to address those points about the dressing room, right? So that report came out about how he lost the dressing room.
Yeah.
Kimmich then came out. I'm going to read you the exact quotes. Let's go with this. Kimmich says, this is how... So before that, he went... So I read a report saying that he said that Nagelsmann was easily one of the top 3 coaches that he's worked with before the sacking.
Yeah.
Right? After the sacking, he came out and said... he minced no words, saying, that's how business is. Little love, little heart. We have to learn to deal with it and live with the decision, right? I would be lying if I said the last few days hadn't affected me. That's Goretzka now. It was extremely difficult. We've had a very close relationship. I probably saw him more than my family. It was a shock, right? So then, Kimmich then goes and says, the players, we were all surprised. A coaching change is always disappointing because it means we players screwed up, didn't perform consistently, and didn't bring results. If we did, the change of coach wouldn't have happened, right? To me, when you, there's no confusion. The players came out and said this.
Yeah.
But what that tells me, there is no way. Maybe he lost 1 or 2 players in the dressing room. Maybe Muller got pissed that he got benched a couple times. Maybe. But, your young leader and your midfield core, right, Kimmich and Goretzka, both come out, reiterated their disappointment, right? Hansi Flick, the former coach, the coach of the German national team, expressed his disappointment. It was not a matter of respect in the dressing room or the community. That has been proven to be a lie. And I think that the players have a lot to lose coming out and defying the board's decision like that, right? It's not easy because they don't have to deal with Nagelsmann anymore. They owe him nothing. They could just call him in private and let him know what it is, right? But to come out and say this publicly, to me, that just tells me that they were shocked. They weren't on board. They were, trying their best and invested in the system that Nagelsmann was trying to put in. And I think that they were fond, or at least a large part of the dressing room was fond of him. And Goretzka also came out and said, I can say for sure he did not lose the dressing room.
Right.
So, for me, when I hear stuff like that, it tells me that this is just an excuse. It's just, you know what I mean? He came again saying, no, I wouldn't say that in terms of whether he lost the dressing room or whether just in the Bayern squad had stopped playing for Nagelsmann. I wouldn't say that. The reasons are that we didn't win enough games and we weren't successful enough. Of course, we are represented in all competitions. You could see that we didn't perform properly in the Bundesliga. We only won 5 out of 10 games. But I can say that the coach has not lost the dressing room. I've already been through a couple of coaching changes. It wasn't the case, and that it wasn't the case that was indicated internally in the dressing room because the players were dissatisfied. We were surprised. No confusion.
Yeah.
No confusion.
Here's the thing now. I don't want Tuchel ball, like the Chelsea Tuchel ball, to now follow to Bayern.
Weren't you the one calling him
What do we call that?
Terrorist football.
Yeah.
Because, okay, so now you sacked Nagelsmann. One of the reasons being we're not playing attractive football. So you bring in Tuchel, who's literally like a modern day Mourinho. I don't get it.
By the way,
he will win though. I think
he'll win, but we're talking.
You don't know that.
You're talking. No, Tuchel will win. You're talking attractive football. You want attractive football. How are you gonna bring Tuchel in to play attractive?
No, it's
football?
true. If you mention the style of football and you bring in Tuchel, I'm not sure about that.
By the way, Nagelsmann also had to deal with losing Lewandowski, you lose 60-something goals a season,
Yeah.
and you maintained your scoring output. Chupo-moting looks like a star.
He's the GOAT, bro. He's the GOAT. Zaid doesn't know ball.
That's my guy Chupo, right? Chupo-moting looks like he gets...
Actually, in the streets, we call them troops.
You call him Chups.
No.
Big
We call them
troops. Big troops.
Okay, big Chups, okay? he gets a bag. He more than doubles his salary off of the way he's performed.
Oh, yeah.
Nagelsmann made him look like a star, right? Like,
Big Troops is Big Troops' accomplishments cannot be given to anyone else. It's because he is Big Troops, not because of Nagelsmann.
look, we can laugh about it as much as we want, but let's face the facts.
No, you're
He
right.
wasn't doing this under Hansi Flick.
No chance,
Right?
bro.
Let's face the facts, right?
It's like what
He
he had
has-
to Joel Linton.
He has
Don't tell when I said that.
No.
He has wingers like he has Coman, Nabri, Sane, and Mane, and
Yeah.
he manages that rotation. He has 4 starting level wingers on a top team, right?
Yeah.
And he's been managing that rotation.
Mm.
You've got Musiala and Muller playing the same position and juggling that. Like the amount that he's had to deal with is not easy. You know
Oh,
what
yeah.
I mean? Yeah. Like
He did well.
disappoint-
It's a
disappointing.
political thing, isn't it? It has to okay, so I have a quote from Salihamidzic. There you go.
Yeah.
The Bayern director. So he said, this is his point, by the way, which I think is stupid. In March last year, we had these inconsistent performances. Then again in September, and most recently, we have won 5 out of 10 Bundesliga games. When the performance curve is pointing down, you have to react. It wasn't an easy decision. These periods, by the way, are 6 months apart. This is football, no? Am I wrong? Like, a team can't win every single one of their games.
It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
How is he going back to March in 2022? What's wrong? No,
You made Mbappe look like he's been neutered. You understand? Like,
bro, I don't get it. I honestly don't understand. But now Nagelsmann's gone, right? Were you confident that he was going to win you the Champions League?
yeah, I was going into the game with City, and I was like, okay, maybe I don't know if we're gonna 100% win this game or to win this tie,
I thought that
What?
too.
but I'm confident. Like I'm going into it and being like, okay, let's see what happens. You know what I mean? It's a top club, but we're a top club, and we just knocked out a top club. But we didn't allow Mbappe to score, who, by the way, with France just decided I'm not gonna lose this final, right? This World Cup final, and scored 3 goals.
Yeah.
You understand? Like, there's levels to it, and we've been displaying against the top teams. We've been displaying top levels. You know, Dortmund hasn't caught us this season in the Bundesliga, right? None of the Champions League clubs have caught us in the Champions League. His problem was that he wasn't like consistently beating Augsburg or not Stuttgart, yeah, or like any of the small Bundesliga clubs, you know, or Leverkusen. He lost to them as well. But and by the way, let me bring that up. This is the loss that led to his sacking, right? That led to Nagelsmann's sacking for Leverkusen. They scored 2 penalties.
Yes.
1-2-1.
I saw that game. Yeah.
You understand? Like, there's a difference. Like, these managers, the board, they just decided that they want to fire this guy, and they used any excuse to like. It's a prime example of a lack of experience and putting your personal feelings above the output at the job.
Yeah.
Because there is no way any other management fires him like this. There's absolutely no way, right? You wait until you don't win the Bundesliga. If you're so confident he's gonna lose it, wait until he doesn't win it, right? And then say, okay, well, he hasn't won the Bundesliga even though he took the Champions League, right? Then we're not happy with it. The domestic is really important to us. We're not happy with it. We fire. Okay.
You know what's annoying now? He was on track for the treble. If now Tuchel wins the treble, it's gonna be like, oh, Tuchel came, he saved the day, he won the Champions League, won the Bundesliga.
If the trouble gets won, I'm giving credit to Nagelsmann. I promise you, I'm giving credit to Nagelsmann. You understand?
You have to give credit to him. You have to. Like,
There's-
and as well, Tuchel did the same thing at Chelsea. If you don't remember, Lampard brought them to knockout stages. Tuchel took over and won them the Champions League. I think that's what Bayern, the board, are seeing. They're like, he's going to win us the Champions League this season. He beat City last time in the final. He can do it again, which is not a given.
That time.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's not. That's what I mean. It's not given that he will do it. But like you said, inexperience from the board. You're thinking short term right now. Tuchel is like Hussein said. He's like a Mourinho, the modern day Mourinho. As in, he will win you things right now. If he doesn't win you things right now, you might as well sack him. He's not staying for the long term. Nagelsmann was the long term solution. I don't know what the board's plan is from now. The team he was building was amazing. To have Musiala growing into that free role in the middle. the team looked great. It was, for me, were the favourites to win the Champions League. And now, I don't know anymore.
I mean, same. I'm the same way. I'm exactly the same way. And what I'm reading also is that the board looked at Tuchel's managing to manage the PSG dressing room and said this is a plus. And then I'm thinking like sure. Okay, go ahead. And in my mind, I'm thinking sure. Thomas Tuchel. Nobody's doubting his ability to manage a club, manage a dressing room, but it's like you're like, oh, it's a shiny new toy that I wanted way back when, and it's available now, so I'm gonna go get it. This is what this this is, and Bayern Munich under Uli Hoeneß and Karl-Heinz Rummenigge have always been well-run club, right? Club that has done well in terms of the way they've conducted themselves, the decisions that they make, the financial spending that they do, or even just the coach and the coach management that they have. They have always been a top club, the best club in Europe, in my opinion, in the way they handle it, right? They never spend that much compared to other clubs, and they always retain the top talent. They always conduct themselves well. They know how to make level-headed decisions, and I think this is a step away from that, right?
Yeah.
These guys were reacting. They thought they have a very specific vision, that we want this very specific coach, and if that's the case, you kind of have set Nagelsmann to fail from before he even started. If you have one eye on Tuchel or one eye on other coaches while he's still doing his job and doing it well, right?
Yeah.
And you have the players coming out saying he didn't lose the dressing room, and you have the results speaking for themselves in Europe's top competition, right? Against big clubs, he plays well. He does well. He doesn't overthink things, right? Or like he didn't, at least this season. Do you understand? And to me, what that tells me, and the other thing too is like, this is a young coach. You get a young coach, and you have to be aware that you have to give them the room to grow. You understand? They are a young coach. They're gonna get stuff wrong. He messed up last year against Villarreal. That's fine. He's grown from it. You've seen that growth. You have to have a tolerance for mistakes. But like, this is, and keep in mind, you spent 20 million euros to get him from Leipzig.
Yeah.
This was not just a coaching hire. This was a transfer, right? Just for you to sack him just now. The only player who was publicly unhappy with his playing time was Ryan Gravenberch. That's it. There's no other, like, nobody else was unhappy. The players, two of the top leaders in your dressing room have come out in opposition to this firing. You look stupid. Like, Oliver Kahn, what do you think? You look stupid.
Alright, so just before we wrap up, let's all discuss real quickly what we think the rest of the season looks like for Bayern. Do they win Champions League now?
No.
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think.
I wouldn't write it off.
No, I wouldn't write it off. No. But I was already leaning towards City winning just because of Haaland. But I was like, oh, but Bayern in the Champions League this season have been unstoppable. But now, I don't know what he's gonna do. What is he gonna change?
Also, keep in mind another thing that Nagelsmann had to deal with. Neuer's out for the season. They have to integrate a new goalie.
Sommer, bro. Let's go.
Right? They have to integrate a new goalie. Do you understand? Like, anyways, sorry. I'm very frustrated, as you can tell. I think Bayern are still the favorites or second favorites for the Champions League. But they're no longer, for me, before they were the solid favorite. I would have loved a tie against Real Madrid in the final. I would have been very happy walking in against them. Or in the semis, sorry.
Yeah.
In the semis, yeah. I would have loved our chances. Now I'm a bit scared. I don't know what Tuchel is gonna do, and I'm not happy with the board. I'm not happy with the way they did this, and I think that this is gonna blow up in the club's face. And my hope now is that they learn from it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When Tuchel messes up, wait, don't fire him straight away.
Yeah.
That's also the other thing. We have to give Tuchel a fair chance. You know what I mean?
He's a good manager. He's still one of the best in the world. Like, Nagelsmann, yes, but I think Tuchel was hot property. He was talking to Tottenham just before, which I think sparked that move from Bayern Munich. But now it looks like Nagelsmann might be going to Tottenham, which I really hope, please, I really hope he doesn't go, because that will ruin his career. Please, Nagelsmann, if you're listening, don't go to Tottenham. Go somewhere else. Go on holiday. Go clear your mind for a bit. Don't do this, please.
That's what Guardiola did. If there's no good openings, take a sabbatical.
Yeah. Don't go Spurs.
That job in Real Madrid might open up. You know, Barca seems locked in with Xavi, but that job in Real Madrid might open up, and you might get a chance to go work with Vinicius and all those fast wingers, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's no need to go to a club like that.
But yeah, on that note, wrapping up the emergency episode, and we'll be back soon for the next roundup.
Yes, bro. Next week, when there's club football back, I can't wait. This international break is killing me. I hate it.
Yep.
It's giving me a chance to catch up on life, though.
Oh yeah, facts. But listen, Zaid, thanks for coming on as the guest Bayern fan speaker. Appreciate you. Of course, man. Anytime. Hussein, thanks for actually coming to an episode. You bum.
Thank you.
And
I went to the last episode, and then Josh.
all right, guys. Well, sorry, his mic's cutting out. Oh, okay, like, subscribe, comment, follow, all that good stuff. And we'll see you guys in the next one in a bit. Peace.
Care.
In a bit.